And hello and good day. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv, live and in concert Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. The concert is in our mind because we get in big trouble with YouTube and the Twitch if we actually do singing on the show. Video on demand is Boles.live, BOLES.live, and an E, which is our YouTube channel. Ooh, it's been a busy morning already. I go to the skin doctor again today for my monthly checkup and my blue light therapy session. It seems like we were just there yesterday. And we're back again today. The heart doctor medication is running out. I have to go to the heart doctor. It all comes tumbling down at the same time. You reach a certain age and you can't get away from the doctors. They're chasing after you. Now, I'm hoping that the heart doctor will do telemedicine or sometimes telephonic medicine, where they just call you on the phone and say, hey, how are you? That I'll do. But the idea of going and sitting in a doctor's office with like 20 other people, 2 hours, it's unabidable. And I realize why they do it. They want to make as much money as possible. They want you to come in as often as possible. Well, that's fine. But if we can just do it through the computer, even better. You get your cut, and I don't have to waste half of my day sitting in a room. Well, yesterday we talked briefly about our NFT situation with the secret test. And I did get an email from a secret company yesterday saying, hey, we see on your certain business page that you're mentioning a certain alpha test, beta test, hey. And while we did give you permission to discuss this privately with your NFT artists, we don't really want that put on your business page. Do you mind taking it down? Okay, right. I thought I had created a little group or something. I don't know anything about this, where only some people could see that, but obviously it didn't work. So I took it down and put it back up with a different angle, but the same image. So it didn't look weird. So if people aren't really paying attention, they aren't going to say, hey, wait a minute. This was about NFTs on a test with a certain, and now it's talking about NFTs in education. 90% of the people won't know the difference. But be careful out there, because they're watching you. And this was supposed to be a big week for that test. Signing stuff, getting ready. Nothing's happened so far. And it's Friday. Or it's Wednesday, but it feels like Friday. So I guess the week is half over, or maybe it's not even begun. I guess it all depends on your point of view. So we have this issue with our friend, Soul Curry Art, the delightful Ishita Banerjee, sending me on her own contract for this alleged test with this unknown company. And it arrived with an inherent value for some reason of 1 ETH. And she's selling them for around $353. So there's something deeply wrong. And I can't figure it out, and she can't figure it out. And I know from the few people that I've asked that it's something that's in her contract. Because I have things from Known Origin, I have things from Sabet's private site, I have a lot of OpenSea stuff, and none of them come with an inherent value. So, as I said yesterday, I realized that I either have to burn them or send them back to her, because I was planning, when this was all over, to buy them from her and then transfer it to my real wallet. But I can't do that because I'd be paying her for the NFTs, rightly so. But then I'd have the added value of 1 Ethereum for each of those pieces, which I like the pieces, but I don't want to pay the taxes on, what could be $6,000 that doesn't exist except somewhere. Hey, Axis, thanks for following. I hope you're well. I hope you have something to say. If you want to contribute something, just speak up here in chat, or you can go to our Discord channel. We have live chat there too. I can let you in if you want to look around. Boom. And it didn't work because I didn't type an exclamation mark. That's an L. Hey! I'm glad that I pronounced your name well, because I did not know how to pronounce your name well. Some people have funny sounding names, and sometimes you pronounce it the wrong way and you get a big laugh. But we're delighted that you were here. Who are you and where are you from? And you don't have to say if you don't want to. But I'm welcoming you. We are coming to you live from the East Coast of the United States de Americano. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this eth problem? You're from Switzerland, living in Singapore. Wow, now that is just delicious. Now, is that like a culture shock for you, or is it just something that's sort of ordinary? Are you used to it now? Culture shock. With one of us in Florida. Indeed. Gordon is in Florida. Gordon, meet our new friend. I don't know if that's an expat or just someone who's living many different places, but boy, oh boy, what a difference. There's Gordon. So in trying to figure out chat, let me just bring something up because we're delayed and it's Twitch, so. Oh, they're saying hello to Gordon. I love that. Oh, what are those things? That's cute. Oh, love dolls. At least that's what it looks like to me, but I'm not wearing my glasses. And if there's anything you'd like to talk about, just shout out. Because I have things I talk about just because I want to make sure that I have something to talk about. But if we want to go off the rails and talk about something else, we certainly can. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and say something. It's never stopped Gordon. So I have these NFTs with an inherent value of $3,000 when they were created, sent to me, sitting in my wallet. So I finally decided that I should contact Ashita and say, look, this is what I was going to do. I was very excited just to buy them from you when it was all over, but now I don't think that that's a good idea. And she wrote back and said, that's what I was thinking. She said, we have two options. Just burn them, which means send them to a dead address, and that should remove them out of your wallet. You're creating NFTs for fun. Well, that's good. Are you selling NFTs anywhere specifically? And if so, you should join our Discord server. We have an NFT area there where you can not post links, but you can post images to your artwork. Not really, not yet. Okay, well, when you get there, let me know. We're doing a big beta test for an unnamed social media company that I am allowed to tell you about in private, but not here publicly. And maybe you'll join in on that. Get in on the PR. Sounds good. That would be delightful. So Soul Curry Art said, yeah, just we can burn them or send them back to me. And then I will take care of them. And then I will re-mint them on OpenSea and send them to you again. That was this morning. So I said, okay, great. How long have you been streaming? That is a wonderful question. I would say it's about 5.5 months. Oh, pretty much every day, Monday through Friday. And then my wife streams on the weekends, 11 a.m. Eastern, talking about disability and American Sign Language and deafness and getting people jobs. And it's been a very interesting adventure. Like just this morning, I'm all ready to go. I start up Streamlabs, and it's frozen. what? That has never happened. And when stuff freezes, really the only way out of it is just to restart everything. It sounds good. Thank you so much. I'm just glad you're here. Streamlabs, yes. I know. I should be using OBS. One day I will. But right now, Streamlabs is just super convenient, especially when you're just starting out. You have some experience with Macs. But there, you have that problem too. Their support is very good in Streamlabs if you're on Discord. Now, they also have I feel like Streamlabs is better. It is better, and you pay for it. But they also have a Reddit place where people go and try to get help, and the Streamlabs makes the terrible mistake of saying, hey, wait a minute. Go to our Discord server. We don't provide support here. And some people now are rightly saying, well, then why do you have this subreddit open for support when all you do is tell people we're not going to answer your questions here? Go to Discord. Now, they're starting to answer some of the questions on Reddit, which is absolutely what they should do. Beast somebody is one of the guys on there answering on Reddit, and he has helped me a lot on Discord. SL Beast, I believe is his name, Streamlabs Beast. And he won't give up. You do this, doesn't work, try this. This doesn't work, try that. He will not give up on you, which is great. And usually when the other people are having trouble, they say, hey, I'm going to step out for just a little bit. I'm going to turn you over to SL Beast. He'll help you. Now, when people have to step out on you in Streamlabs in support on Discord, you know you've won them out. And I always try to be super polite and super non-confrontational or hot, because I know a lot of people yell at them, and I never ever yell. I start with Streamlabs and I'm stuck with it, just easy. Well, that is exactly the problem that I'm having. I have tried, especially when I moved from Mac to Windows, to just go with OBS and get rid of the Streamlabs part of it. But we have a merch store with Streamlabs, these overlays, these delightful animations that you see on this stream, like this, and then going back to this. Theoretically, you can get them on OBS, but it's not easy to do. With Streamlabs, you hit a button and it downloads it and it sets it up for you. And these little overlays here we have with Discord and this. You just tell Streamlabs to put them up there. Where's the file? It's right there. Hopefully, yeah, OBS is like OBS is hardcore. You got to know what you're doing. And there's no official place you can go to get help. Now, the user community is really terrific. But they tend to be not super friendly. Whereas the Streamlabs people are very super friendly. So as I said before, you pay what you get for. And what I like is that my chat, I gave it a try, but gave up after a day. I didn't even last a day. I last a couple of hours, and I get very frustrated. And I just said, why am I going through all this extra harassment to save a few dollars to use OBS? Not friendly. Yeah, it's not friendly. But a lot of major streamers use OBS, and I know why, because they don't want to spend any money. And once you get it set up, which is what takes so long, then it just kind of self-runs, I guess. But I find the embedded stuff that Streamlabs has for music and overlays and our closed captioning thing for the deaf is much harder to do on OBS than on Streamlabs. And I like having my chat right here on the right side. It's part of the overall experience. And if we were also streaming on Facebook, then there's a tab where you click and you go to Facebook and you see the Facebook comments. I don't think they do that for YouTube, though. They are doing better, David. I mean, they have issues, but it's still working fine. Yeah. And that's, I guess, the goal of all of us. Keep trying, keep working, try to push through and make it work. And we're always trying to get things done, go different ways, figure things out. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. But it's so interesting how we have communities just on this stream. I'm a hearing person. My wife is deaf. She teaches American Sign Language at major universities on the East Coast, and she works for the state of New York. And on her stream on weekends, she has me, of course. I'm her moderator. And then she has 2 or 3 friends who are deaf from Iowa in the Midwest, and a former student who is sort of able to study, and one person who is sometimes on the show and sometimes on her show, Dora, who shows up and once in a while chats. So it's interesting that we don't have a lot of crossover between my show and her show. I would love to have some people on her show come over to my show and chat, but they don't. And people in my chat show don't go over and chat on her show. It's just weird. I find the whole thing weird. Because we're kind of the same person. To be honest, I can listen to your voice every day, soothing and relaxing. Well, that's very nice. The other day, I was accused of, or complimented by, Gordon saying that I sounded like Jeff Goldblum. Now, I took that as a compliment because I love Jeff Goldblum. But I don't know if Gordon was trying to secretly insult me or not. He didn't really say, and he has yet to say. Oh, that's good. Because I love Jeff Goldblum. I don't like him in the Jurassic Park movies. He's just a little weird. But in The Fly, he's fantastic. Gordon, be nice. Oh, I like that. Usually people are encouraging Gordon. And now people are going after Gordon, which is probably the attention he deserves. But I've known Gordon for many, many, many years, probably too many years. We wrote together for, he says, 13 years, and we've known each other for at least 100. He's in a terrific documentary series, too. That's right. Life with Jeff or something like that. That's a good show. I've watched that a couple of times, and then I've lost track of where it was. I miss the old days where everything was on 3 channels, ABC, NBC, or CBS. You just came back from work, open a bottle of Prosecco and relaxing. Wow. Well, you've come to the right place. Kick back, relax, as we try to figure out what's going on in this crazy world of ours. So back to our friend Ishita. Well, I'm glad you are. Keep relaxing and keep chatting and asking questions. The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Is it still on or is it like finished? That's the interesting question of the day. Working within the hospitality industry. That's very interesting. Good, necessary, important job. Try to be happy and peppy. Keep people happy. Very difficult today. People are very demanding and ill-behaved. It's still on. Oh, that's good. I have to find it again. And so Ishita said, oh, here we go. Things are opening up. Very demanding people. Please refrain from using foul language. Whoops. That's interesting because DAMN, I wouldn't think is a bad word, but it got through, so I'm not sure what else you're saying. But I guess it's just warning you. Oh, you're timed out for 1 second. Oh, and the bot deleted 29 messages. I've actually softened up the bot. That's okay. It's not even me. It's just the bot. We have two Boles bots. We have the Discord Boles bot, which is very strict, and we have the Boles bot here. Oh, look at that. That's a Pepsi logo. Where did you get that? Now, my wife's going to go crazy for that. Because she's a big Pepsi fan from way back. Wow. I wonder if I pin that, do we still see the logo? Oh, it doesn't look like it's pinning. Or maybe I didn't hit it right. You designed it. Wow, that's fun. Very cute. Very, very well done. And it's not letting me pin it. You're still setting up your stream. Oh, that's very good design if you're going to have that kind of stuff in your stream. It's very good. Work is busy right now. I understand that. Very lucky to have Gordon with us because Gordon is able to telecommute. Gordon works in a different state and spends all his time at Disney. So you're a streamer and you have a lot of experience. Well, that's very good because it can be very difficult to try to get up to speed. It takes a long time to try to figure out what to do and how to keep the energy and the power moving forward. My new friend, we are going to take a blood pressure break, which is a code phrase for my heart medication makes me go to the bathroom. But we're not that crass because we don't want to be edited by our Boles bot. So we're going to take a break. That's when we show our ads, and then we come right back. And maybe you'll join us, or maybe you'll disappear. We'll find out. Back in a minute. we're back from break. This is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv. Live with you Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. January on the weekends, 11 a.m. Eastern. Quite a wild show today, full of conversation, which is terrific. This is what you want. You want to have chat with everybody for 2 hours. You just sit and talk about things. It's fabulous. And I see Gordon has taken up the mantle of going back to criticizing all of our ads again. An ad for the boys. I've never seen the show. I've never seen the ad, actually. I have no idea what you're talking about. The Uber Eats ad. Very dumb. Now, I have seen the Uber Eats ads as well, and I don't know if it's the same one you saw, but they are the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Especially the ones where they deliver things and people are eating them, and they're celebrities, and they're showing how dumb they are, I guess. One of them was Gwyneth Paltrow, right? Delivered her a goop candle, and she started eating it. And it was the one, I think this was their Super Bowl ad. Her candle that smelled like her vagina, right? And she had holding it, said my vagina, and she had her thumb over most of it so you couldn't read the whole word. Gross. Gordon says, it's a guy saying, do you Uber eat everything you Uber get? And he's downright baffled by toothpaste. It's the dumbest thing ever. One of the TV ads is they deliver paper towels. And the person doesn't know what to do with the paper towel because they're supposed to eat the paper towel. And then Gordon saw an anti-vaping ad, which was confusing. Now, I don't know what's confusing about anti-vaping, but Gordon will tell us. Anti-aping, as in anti-board yacht club aping, that I understand. An anti-vaping ad is weird, because it should be terrific. It should convince you to put it down and never start again. So I have been working with Soul Curryard, who is just a wonderful person, and I know I'm harassing her by being involved in this social media NFT alpha test, beta test. I understand. And she's being patient, and she's paying gas fees and sending me art that I'm complaining about. Oh my goodness. Oh, Gordon's back. The confusing thing is that they make it sound like it's good, but then they tell you bad things about it. Vaping. It's a breath of stressed air. My kids saw the ad. They are the target audience. We were like, is vaping bad? Not a good thing to hear from kids as a response. Well, that's a very good point. Excellent point. Doesn't make any sense. We used to have really smart, interesting people doing advertising and television. And now it just all seems like it's done by people who have no clue what's going on in the world. They're just sort of out there, doing nothing, causing confusion. Which is okay, I suppose, if you're into that sort of thing. This is your brain on drugs. Makes sense. You don't want your brain to get fried, don't do drugs. Yeah. I had a friend of mine who was in radio, had 2 young kids at the time, and he wasn't really a big druggie, but he was, let's say, of the street, a chain smoker at the time, which he's given up. And he would just go on and on and on. And he was not a rileable kind of guy, but he would just go on and on about Nancy Reagan's just say no to drugs. Just say no. He said that is the stupidest campaign he's ever heard of because it would never and hasn't and didn't work. Kids can't just say no because there's too much pressure, there's too much want for experimentation. It has to be a different approach. And to this day, if you ask him about just say no, good campaign, bad campaign, oh, he'll go for 20 minutes. about everything that's wrong with it. And he's absolutely, completely right. And now Nancy Reagan has her own stamp. I think she's the 6th first lady to have her own postage stamp, which I find incredibly strange. Because she was an interesting first lady. Many people say she made a lot of the decisions, and she made a lot of the decisions in the White House with the aid of an astrologer. Very, very strange. Did she keep Ronnie going? Was she the force behind his political career? Absolutely. She was his Dick Cheney. So my friend Ishita, who I'm now picking on, and she's taking it well because it's her contract. So she said, yeah, send it back or burn it. You decide, and then we'll redo it. So I sent them back to her using MetaMask, which I've never done before. And gas for one was $10, and gas for the other one was $7, which I thought, boy, that's really, really cheap. Because yesterday gas was like $45 for some reason that I'll tell you about in a minute. And I don't know if they reached her or not, because after I sent them, the NFTs were still in the wallet. Now, if I'm sending something, if I'm transferring something from me to her, from me to someone else, why would I keep a copy in my wallet? I don't know. I've never done anything like this before. And I told her on Twitter, I said, okay, so I'm sending this back to you. And it's great. She has an eth name. My eth name is boles.eth. Her eth name is soulcurryart.eth. And they say, who are you going to send it to? I'm sending it to soulcurryart.eth, and it goes. It fills in her address, and boom, she has it. Now, did it work? Does she have it? I don't know, because I did it right before the show. I'm waiting to hear from her. And then she should remint and resend, I'm so sorry for her, on OpenSea, and we'll see if that arrives and makes sense. So one good thing I said to our beautiful friend Ishita is, hey, I know you were involved in this NFT opportunity yesterday, and it's funnily spelled homework art thing. And it's a conglomeration of like 5 different artists, of which Ishita was one of them. And they design a room together. And there are like 4,000 different variations of this design. So you know it's all computer generated, which is fine. But it's the exact same room. So it's almost like a coloring book, where you give a coloring book page and give it to 5 different artists and say, okay, draw something in there. And I think they each have a 1 of 1. And I've seen her 1 of 1. It's beautiful. And then she has others that are just part of the general sale. We should look for her 1 of 1. And so I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. I like the artwork. One of the artists is Pop Wonder Art. Love their work. And it was minting on the whitelist yesterday at 11 a.m. Eastern for $130, 0.77 Ethereum, which is really cheap for that level of artist collaboration. And it went so well that I actually bought 2. Gordon says, I love when people take coloring pages and really manipulate the page and change the theme of it with pens and markers, and certainly not saying in the lines. Very good point, Gordon. I like that very much. Makes a lot of sense. So this is what I was able to get yesterday. And this is what it's called. Homework. H0M3W0RK. Okay, homework. And they're all slightly different. All kind of funky. So it's a living room with a back wall, a television set, a television stand, a floor, and then you can add things like animals and bicycles and skateboards. Okay. Not really my favorite thing, but for $130, it's fine. And then as you can see here, you can press play, and then it plays, here's a bigger version, and then it plays music, which I guess is supposed to be original music, which doesn't interest me. It's electronic. I can't play it on the air because I'll get in trouble. Someone will claim it somewhere. But this is the second one I bought, which is okay. But as you can see the background here, right? All this stuff, these faces, that's all Ishita. So I was very, very happy to get that because I like a lot of Ishita. This is the first one I got with the clouds and the fish and the rock and roll man. And this one, I guess, is slightly more unique than the other one. But the other one has more Ishita. And the Ishita in this one is right here. She's the stand. So, not a lot of Ishita in this one. But I like this one so much with all our background wallpaper that I actually took the big copy of this, because I owned it, and I cropped it. So it's Ishita only, and made it my banner. My OpenSea page. And I think it's just beautiful. I love the tone, I love the color, I love it just as it is. I don't want the rest of it. All I want is the background. I want the wallpaper. And I told her about that, and she didn't compliment. She didn't say anything about that, which is fine, because we're trying to figure out all this other stuff. Now here's what I call the kick in the face. You work for months on something, like this homework thing, right? And it goes up for sale on async.art for a very affordable mint price of 0.77. There are 4,777 available. And the mint price is the same as the whitelist price, 0.07777, which when you pay becomes 0.78. Tricky, right? And there are only 228 owners, 24 hours after the initial sale. That's bad. They thought they were going to really kill it. And they failed. Oh, our friend is back. Hello, friend. I'm glad you're back. I hope you're okay and doing well. We missed you. And then you can log into Mint for this price. Now, here's the real kicker. Got some more Prosecco. You're having fun. And I'm glad you're doing it with us. Is that OpenSea? Yeah, no, this is not OpenSea. This is, I just showed OpenSea. This is Async. We're talking about the NFTs I bought. This is OpenSea. The NFTs I bought yesterday. With Ishita involved in some of them. Well, she's involved in all of them. She has a little piece of, I think she did some animals too, which I would have loved to have. But this is a disaster. There are 13 artists, but there's no way around the fact that only 228 people have purchased this. And this was supposed to be big, like, trend setting and the new Bored Ape and the new Meow. And they have 4,000 of these left. And nobody's buying at this super cheap price. Now, I thought that maybe yesterday gas was high, and it was high. For each of my purchases, it was $41 in gas fees. And I tried several times over like half an hour to get a better price, and it was really just stuck at $41, which was ridiculous. But the price of the art was cheap. So you go ahead and you figure it out and you do it. But wow, that's asking a lot. And yesterday, Me6 were supposed to airdrop 4,444 NFT images as part of their sale. And that was supposed to be done 3 weeks ago, and they booted on that, and they booted it yesterday, saying, oh, we have a transmission problem. And everybody knew why they didn't want to drop it, because gas fees are $40. This morning, it appears gas fees are like $10. So will they drop it today? I don't know. I'm hopeful they'll keep their promise, but who knows? So Ethereum is at 1,800, and what is gas running? 22. A little high. At least on OpenSea. So that's what happens when you're in the art world, and it's a down time, it's a down market, which is very good for someone who wants to start collecting, because you can get some really interesting pieces of art. Now, if we go back to this, which is my page, and we click on Homework Art, you can see they're also selling on OpenSea, which is weird, and this is where people who don't know anything are going to buy things. Now, the floor price is 0.69, which is cheaper than 0.77. Someone made me an offer on my first one that was like 800% higher than what I paid. And I said, okay, I know what that is. That's going to be a scam. But these are what some of the other ones look like. There's my fish. There's the puppy. It would be fun to have a puppy. And so this is, I guess, where you go when you want to pick the artwork that you want to own. So that's my... So I have 2 pieces from 2 different pieces that are in this one. Maybe that's why people are getting concerned, because it's not very original. Now, the unicorn and the blob are, I admit, very unique and pretty cute. But it's selling for 0.9 Ethereum instead of 0.7. So people are buying these at the whitelist price and then flipping them. But isn't that funny? Because you can just go to the original website and buy it for cheap. But I guess people go here because they don't want the risk of being surprised. They want to know exactly what they're going to get. And here's a problem, see? These 2, same wallpaper. Well, that's boring. The thing on the television set on this one is the same thing that's on my television set. So we've seen that now 3 times. And here it is a 4th time, this stupid thing. So maybe there's not enough uniqueness. See here, the wallpaper's the same. But the price is 0.1, not 0.77. That has a cat. Funky cat. So you're seeing a lot of repeats, where they shouldn't be that many repeats, in my opinion. Oh, there's the Ishida background again, right here, which I love. And the squirrel, which I have. So maybe that's why they're not selling. And also they're not selling because I don't have any money. See if I can find Soul Curry art. And then we're going to have another conversation about Twitter, but that's in a moment. What am I looking for? Oh, Ishida. Soul Curry art. I want to see if I can find her 1 of 1 from her homework project. Minting now, okay, meow meow, so curry art blows my mind how cool and different every piece is. Well, they're not really, because we just saw. But I want to see if we can find her 1 of 1. She talked about it the other day. But that doesn't mean I can find it. Is this it? So hype. No, that's not it. And she's been working on this for 18 months, I guess. Oof, that's a long time. Oh, okay. So this, okay, yeah. So this is what everybody's seeing, this type of thing, right? Okay. And what's playing is music that we're not going to listen to. And then this is her 100% design. Her 1 of 1. Which I would say would probably be worth, I don't know, $2,000. But is that the most fabulous thing you've ever seen? I just love that. She designed this one all herself. And how do you get a hold of it? I guess it's one of the 4,000. One of the 4,000 yet to be minted. Because looking at this, there are people who will want that and who will try to get it by just buying and buying and buying and buying and seeing if it will mint. But I don't think it's appeared yet, because we would know about it. She would be telling us about it. And people would be jumping up for joy that they got a one of one from Ishita. So this is the lovely Ishita who I'm driving crazy with my unnameable beta test for this major social media company. And she's doing a great job. Oh, remember NFT.nyc? They still have not responded to my request for a press pass or for a presentation on NFTs and Aristotle's Poetics, which disturbs me a little bit. Which does, however, set up my next topic rather perfectly about talking about things behind your back. And we will address that next after we take our next blood pressure break. Returning momentarily. And we're back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv. Live and in person, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Well, I've had a wonderful conversation today, meeting new friends, doing a little Prosecco drinking, a little fun with Jeff Goldblum, and of course our friend Gordon. I'm checking my MetaMask to see if Ishita has redone anything, and so far, none. Yes and yes. I hope you're okay. Don't drink too much. Or do drink too much, whatever makes you feel good and strong. And whatever helps you better understand Streamlabs, because we all could use a little extra help with that. So as you may know, and this is just going to be just perfect. It's going to bump right into what I'm going to be talking about. As you know, I have a blog that I've been writing for many, many years. Gordon's been a part of it for many days. Oh, you have a day off tomorrow, finally. Well, then just go for it, all the way. Are you like in hotels? Are you like restaurant? Or what kind of hospitality is it? If you're allowed to say. If you're not allowed to say, I understand, because I have been reprimanded for saying too much. Repeatedly. By a social media company. Daily by my wife. Other people. Please be quiet. Hotel, there you go. I wondered. You seem like a hotel personality, which is an absolute compliment. So I've been writing and thinking about NFTs for a little bit. I'm new to this, just this year, really. Before that, I was just a holder, as they say, diamond hands for 7 years, holding Bitcoin. And so I decided to write about what I think that my vision might be for the future of NFTs. And it's not just in art. And as we've talked about on this live stream, Volvo has now moved all car repair features, warranties, contracts on the blockchain, which means you have access to your information. And anybody has access to that information because it's publicly on the blockchain, where it is safe, decentralized, and no one can delete it or control it, including terrible hackers. So the NFTs that I purchase and celebrate, I make them banners on my Boles blog site. And so randomly you'll get an image, and sometimes it's an NFT, sometimes it's one of my photographs. It's a fun way to celebrate. And this, I just popped this up to talk about this. Look at that. That's an Ian Jones octopus NFT. He lives in the UK. And that is the Boles bot logo on our Discord server. So when bad things happen, it's that octopus doing it to you and not me. It's the octopus who's telling you to stop using bad language. And the fact that it's just randomly popped up when I'm going to talk about this is just great, which I love. So, the title of my article is Non-Fungible Tokens are the ABCs, the NFTs of education. And I go on to, discuss how this might work and why and how NFTs will replace textbooks. And you can also link content, so you could have a video lecture, lesson, chapter, and then you have an attached PDF, which is the text that goes along with the book. And I know it's right, and I know it's going to happen. And this is kind of going to be maybe one of my angles in this social media beta test that I'm not allowed to talk about. But it's a unique way of talking about it. And I could also talk about it at nft.nyc if they would ever respond to me, but they're not. So, that's my article, right? And then the article publishes, and you publicize it, you propagate it onto your social media connections, hoping that people will read the article and maybe even come over to the article and have a comment or two. have a conversation with you as the author, because that's the way it used to be. You can ask Gordon. You publish an article and people will come and chat with you about it. Interesting. Thank you so much. And then as I wrote in an article subsequently later, that I learned that there are back channel conversations that have been happening. This was 10 years ago on our blog articles. And it's very frustrating with this new social media thing, where people choose to go into their little silo, be it Reddit or Twitter or some other private group, and talk about you and your work behind your back. Okay, that's fine, but very disappointing, because I'd rather have the conversation as part of the official published article. But it's changed. Now, major websites have very robust chat places, but the medium websites, smaller website blogs, they don't. People don't want to talk about it there. They want to go talk about it where they want to talk about it. And you can't really wrangle them in. And if you go into their silo and try to have a conversation with them about it there, then, if they disagree with you, that you're attacked relentlessly and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's really hopeless and not worth your time. So, imagine my horror and my delight, my surprise, when I see this. You're listening, just multitasking to set up my PC here. Well, thank you very much. I hope the Prosecco is helping. We're glad to have you with us. So, I discovered this because it had somehow popped up in my feed. Now, because I have a verified account on Twitter, I don't always see everything people send me, because Twitter has a filter that says we only, indeed, and YouTube, thank you so much, only shows you what they deem as important people or important topics. So sometimes people like my things, they ask me questions that if I'm not really paying attention to dig down into the article or the post, I don't see what they're saying. And I know some people are probably very upset because I asked them to speak to me, they're speaking to me, and I don't see it because I'm not notified by Twitter. So here's my article. Here's my latest Boles blogs, blah, blah, about NFTs and education. Meow. Okay, there's the article right there. Twitter is where I post my funny puns. Well, that's good. Twitter's good for that. And this person, Jared Griffin, right? Okay, who's Jared Griffin? Investigating. English professor. Language editor for Hewers. On-air host, KMXT 101.1 FM. Award-winning theater teaching artiste, I'm sure. Kodiak Island Borough Assembly member. So I guess that's Alaska, right? Jared Griffin. Fine, wonderful. I appreciate the forward. But this is where it gets interesting. Forwarding, not to me. I'm not included in this, but to a Mr. A. White. What's your take on this? Interesting stuff, ... Okay. So somehow I saw that. It had been retweeted. So I liked it, or I put a heart on it, okay? Just so people know that I'm there and I'm interested, and you can ask me a question if you want to, because I wrote the article. And now we begin to scroll down. Replying to Jared Griffin. Adjar. What do you think about this? Adjar is in Bushnell. Okay, nobody's responding. So I said something. Hey, if you need more info, hey, send me a DM or find me, and I'll give you more details. And then Anthony White replies, I think NFTs have great potential in the educational space. A solid utility, as the author indicated. Hello? Instead of, you could put at David Boles instead of author, so I would see it. It's all behind my back. I didn't know any of this until I went and looked at it this morning. I'm fortunate to be a small part of the Ed3 educators, Genesis group, which are helping build some great stuff. Gordon says, I guess you could say that you pontificate. That belongs on Twitter. We're helping build some great stuff. At K12 Crypto is another one to keep a close eye on. So I liked that, as you can see here, so people know, hey, the author of the article's right here, ready to have a conversation about my article that you're talking about. No one's taking me up on it. Then he says, I have yet to mint an NFT, let alone purchase one, though. I'm kinda sitting on the sidelines waiting for the tech to mature. Big mistake. Pioneers don't wait, they get out and get out front. To mature some more before I dive in. And I like that one too, to say, okay, I have minted my NFTs. I'm ready to have a conversation. So here we go with show replies. Okay. Oh, look at all this conversation. These I didn't like. Or, Ed3 Educators says, maybe the Ed3 Educators NFT will be your first one, smiley face. We're honored having you in the Ed3 DAO and in our Ed3 community, Anthony. Anthony replies, methinks that will definitely be the case. Saving what's left of my Ethereum so I can hold a piece of history. The response, applause, and smiles. Now, I just think, wouldn't it have been great to kind of have this conversation or start this conversation on the actual article itself that's in question? That started the conversation? You would think that. That's not the way of the new world. And I could go here and talk and investigate and follow and ask them to follow me and have a whole new connection. But they're not following the rules. They're not mentioning me. The original person mentioned me, forwarded it, and asked for commentary. And there was commentary, but it wasn't given to me. It was given generically to people, which I find sort of weird. But I guess that's the new thing. You go out there, you find something to chat about, and you just go in your own place and chat about it. But it makes you a little bit weary as a content creator, because they're stealing all of your conversation. It's all been put on the Twitter and not on your article. Oh well, as they say. Chat hopping. I guess that's exactly what it is. They could go on our Discord server and have a chat there. They don't want to. Okay. At least the person was nice enough to retweet my thing so people can go and read the article if they want to. That's a good thing, I guess. Now we're going to shift just a little bit and talk about something really interesting. Urban sprawl. Thank you for agreeing. I appreciate that. The urbanization of low-income areas. Now, this is all very personal, and this is revelatory, and it's okay with me because I'm going to share with you now. This article that just appeared recently, a couple of days ago, in NewJersey.com, which is the Jersey Journal, which is all kinds of different journals together. And they did this very interesting visual, I call it a condemnation, some people might call it a celebration, of the Journal Square area in Jersey City, which is where we live. The Journal Square path is the heart and the center of the PATH program. The PATH headquarters is in Jersey City. Our view out our window is of the PATH Palace, where all the big decisions are made. So this perspective, all of these photographs I'm telling you were taken with drones, which is the new thing, and they're illegal in the city, but I guess if you're working for a major news organization, you can use a drone if you want to. But this is very interesting. This is Summit Street, and this right here that goes along here is Pavonia. Now it looks like it's 5 corners, but it's not. 5 corners is actually 1 block that way. So this is really only 4 corners, but it's still very dangerous to cross. But that's not my point. This over here is the beginning of where we live. This is actually building 2. We live in building 1, which is that way. That away to the right, which I'll show you in a minute. But this is the 8th floor pool deck. These are barbecue things. This is the swimming conclave. This down here is the dog park on the 7th floor. And as you can see in this big pit right here, I hate where that keeps moving. This pit right here, this is building 3 that they're building right now. So there are 3 towers. And when it's all done, they're going to look like this. 1, 2, 3 fingers. Flipping off Jersey City. It's going to look like that. I don't know who didn't know that in the design. But they knew. And this, if I can try to go over here, is right across the street, is going to be a new Irby building. And there are already 3 of them in Jersey City. They're downtown. This is the newer one, and the Irby is like everything's out, funky. People say overpriced, expensive, and cheap. The building outside looks fantastic, but they say you go inside and you look at the furniture, the cupboards, the way the kitchen's put together. They say the materials are not very good, but they're very expensive. So there is a lot of, in our place alone, those 3 buildings, 2,000 people. So you have 2,000 people, perhaps, let's say, a day at least in the area, who are going to be riding the PATH trains. Can the PATH system keep up with that many people going in and out of Jersey City and Manhattan? I don't know. And the problem is, it's not just these 2 buildings that are being built. There are more buildings all around, which I'm gonna show you. So this is another look at the same thing. Now we were looking this way, now we moved this way. So this is Irby right here, okay? We were looking this way. And this is our building. This is the first, so this is the second building. This little thing on here, this bump is part of the second building. So this is the first building. You can see the swimming pool below. There are 2 pools. There's an Olympic-sized pool, and then there's a smaller pool. And as you can see on the right side, there are 2 new buildings going up right there. So in this little area, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 new buildings going up with about 2,500 new apartments coming in. Where are these people going to go? There's no grocery store. There's supposed to be a grocery store going into the first floor of the second building in our tower. That was supposed to be there by the spring. I think the spring's over. Bird is the word, Gordon says. I don't know if you're talking about the... What is it called? Hovercraft? What did I say? I can't think. Now this here is the PATH station. This over here is our building right here. Okay. So now we're looking out our window. And this is the most fascinating thing. I was making funny, Gordon says, regarding the building looking like the gesture. I'm not paying attention. And this over here is the Jersey Journal building, which is required to be that height and retain the Jersey Journal insignia on top. this building, this building, this building, this land here, and all of our 1, 2, 3 White Tower monoliths are owned by the Kushner agency. Yeah, those Kushners. Now, when you move into a building, the first thing you ask is not who is the builder, ever, really. You just move in. And then later on, you find out to your horror that the Kushners own your building. Because you don't want to support that. We moved in here 5 years ago, which is right when all of that was happening. And then you do a little investigation and you learn, well, it's the Kushners, but it's not that Kushner. It's not Jared. It's his cousin, Gerald, who runs KRE, Kushner Real Estate. And Jared was a part of it at one time, but he's not any longer. When the whole presidential thing, Trump thing, Ivanka thing started, Jared, I guess, was removed from the company or left the company. We don't know, but they've made it very clear that Gerald and Jared do not really get along, and Jared has no financial stake in anything KRE. Which helps some people, but some people are still very bothered by it. So KRE owns all these major properties, and they bought them very cheap, and they don't pay any tax. And they didn't want to pay any tax on this right here. And then they sued to get $2 million back as a deposit, and the city gave in, and then they didn't give in. But anyway, this is now going to be, I guess, what they're going to call Journal Squared 1. And it's going to be a complex of a hotel and condos and living space. Now, this empty lot is where a lot of the homeless hang out on this side of the trees. There's a beautiful fountain right here. But this empty lot used to be like a strip mall 17 years ago, when we first moved here. There was a donut place, there was Kentucky Fried Chicken, there was a radio place, fast food. There were like 15 different shops all along that strip. And people loved it. And it was like a little plaza. And then the city tore it all down, razed it to nothing. What you see now, it's been like that. It's been an empty lot for 17 years. Nothing has happened. Then the Kushners came along. They said, we'll develop it. And they bought this, which I guess used to be kind of like a school building, which is now empty. It's been empty for as long as we've lived here, 17 years. Used to be a part of Hudson County Community College. It's not. They moved across the street here into their new building. And they bought this building, I believe, for $8 million. So it's exciting to get a sort of like Twin Tower looking convention center hotel, which Jersey City in this area desperately needs. But do you want to wait 17 years for that? And they were supposed to break ground 5 years ago. And then there was this tax problem where the Kushners said, we want our tax break. And the city said, we're not giving you any more tax breaks. You've had plenty. And the Kushners coming back and saying, well, then we put a deposit down and we want our $2 million back. And the city said no. And then I think it went to court, and I think the court gave them back their money. And then everybody settled everything, and they said, okay, well, go ahead. No tax abatement. You'll just pay as you go and start building, please. And they sort of did. And now to finish the story, I need to take one last break of the day. Returning in a moment. And we're back from break. This is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv, not television, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Well, I've been talking a little bit about how a city is formed and the politics that go along with it and the money that goes along with it. And I think we lost our new friend. Our Switzerland-Singapore friend has, I believe, disappeared. Oh, you're back! The setup is 70% done. Well, that's good. I'm glad you are doing well. And I'm glad your setup is finished. And I hope your Prosecco is treating you well. And I say that with jealousy in mind. I would be drinking at 10:30 in the morning if I had a little bit of Prosecco, but I don't have any. So just completing this idea of this story. Treating me well. Good. I hope so. So the infamous Elliot Spitzer, who got in trouble, is building another building right here in the center here. Sadly drinking alone. Well, you're not drinking alone. You have me and you have Gordon. We're here with you. Let us know if you need help. We'll send it right away. And this is where the DMV is. And this is a great big, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. A great big giant seal painted on the asphalt. That is the seal of Jersey City. I don't know why it's on the ground like that. I guess it's to make it identification easy. Look for the big seal on the asphalt. Gordon is raising a mug of coffee. Chin chin. Fabulous. Raising a cuppa, as some might say. And so this is a big hole in the ground. Big mess. Very unsafe to walk, as you can see here. There is no sidewalk on that side of the street. This is the other side of the hotel that's going up. The Ancient Lowe's Theater is over here. This building right here is what I call the Bath Palace, where all the big decisions are made. And this is another version. These are two other new buildings. These are right across the street from us on the other side. This building went into bankruptcy, and the developer was gotten rid of by the city. A new developer came in, paid. So they've been building this building for 5 years. Now, one thing about KRE that you have to give them credit for is when they decide they're going to build, they get in there and they bring all the power and money they have, and they build a building in a year and a half. And it's a skyscraper. It would not take them 5 years to build this little 12-story building. And speaking of the hotel that's going in, there really is no hotel in Jersey City in this area, if you can believe that, which is the heart and center point of the city, Hilltop. There's a Ramada Inn that's about 2 blocks that away. And it's a Ramada Inn in a 3-story apartment complex is what it looks like. They have, I think, 10 rooms. And that's the only place. If someone wants to visit you in Jersey City and stay in Jersey City, that's really the only place within walking distance of the General Square area is that hotel that has terrible reviews. So getting a convention center and a hotel right here next to the PATH station is really terrific. There's the Jersey Journal sign. These are our 2 twin towers. We live in this tower. This is the second tower that's brand new, and this is where the hotel is supposed to be built. We hope. They say they've already broken ground, and I guess the broken ground is that movement of dirt. And this is the view from the 3rd tower that they're building, the 3rd finger. This is the rendering of a tower that's going up not far from here. Another rendering of the same tower that's going up not far from here. This is the rendering of that ugly building that we just saw that took 5 years. And there are 2 more buildings up the street. creating sort of a plaza between these two blocks. And there used to be a temple right here, a Jewish temple, which I always thought was really interesting. It was a ranch-style temple. And the temple agreed to be destroyed, and then I guess, as I understand it, relocated into this building. What are we looking at? We are looking at new construction in Jersey City, and how we have now seen at least 10 new buildings that are being started, built, or finished within the last 3 years. One of them is a hotel. And to finish this part of the story, the JSQ Lounge, which is right across the street from us, the General Square Lounge, is closing on June 4. So it's dead. The lounge has been open in one form or another since the 1930s. It's like Singapore, demolish and build a new one. That's the new thinking. So this bar that I have never been to, I'm not a bar person really, is going out of business, even though it's been there since 1930. But I have to say, oh, I'm not even showing you what I'm looking at. I'm so sorry. Now I have to go back just a little bit. I apologize for that. I understand now why you're asking, what are we looking at? Well, I'm not showing you what we're looking at. So this is the Hudson Square DMV with the thing on the ground that they painted on the ground. This is another view. This is where they're groundbreaking for the hotel. I appreciate your imagination. I tend to do that because I'm looking at it, but the screen is not looking at it. And sometimes chat is kind enough to say, we can't see what you're talking about. Embarrassing. Thank you. This again is another shot of the hotel. These are the two new buildings going up. This is the one that has taken 5 years to build because the developer ran out of money and got fired by the city, and then they had to find a new developer. Oh, it's a mess. And this is that same building. And it looks very interesting from the outside. I really wish they'd finish it because it's really 12 feet away from our building. You go out the front door of our building and that's what you look at. All these buildings used to be on parking lots, by the way. And that's what's really interesting is these parking lots that Jersey City sell because they want the land. Jesus, right. For $2 million. There are crummy, terrible, rundown houses, because this has been a very poor area for a long time, that are right next to these new, beautiful skyscrapers. New Jersey. Yeah, Jersey City. And these rundown, terrible, ugly, little tiny houses are now assessed at $1 million. And several of them don't even have running water because they've been pretty much abandoned by the landlord. Because the landlord doesn't want to live there. The landlord doesn't want anybody living there, but the landlord's just waiting for the next builder to come in and give him $1 million. And that's a big concern because a lot of people around this area had no money. This was a minority place to live. And developers come in and buy them out, and where do they go? Where can they afford? They can't afford to, live in one of these apartments where you pay anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 a month in rent. So where do they go? And most of these brand new buildings do not have stipulations to have affordable housing, because people who live in those buildings don't want to live in a building with poor people, because it brings down their experiential value of living there. So these new buildings, no poor people housing. The newer buildings, now that the big buildings are up, now they're starting to say, well, 10% of your apartments have to be affordable housing. That's what they call it. And that's been the law and the rule in New York City for a long time, but Jersey City's trying to get caught up. And developers do not want to have affordable housing units in their complex because it's lost profit. I understand it while also condemning it. And this is a construction worker working on Tower 3 of our building. And these are the renderings. for these buildings that are in development and on their way of being fixed. And this is the one where the green patch is the new sort of parkway between two different blocks. And there used to be a Jewish temple right here. I used to walk by it every day. It had such charm. It had a little house attached to it, sort of. And there was the temple. It was all one level, very run down, but very interesting to look at. So they tore down the temple. And then the temple is going to be in one of these buildings, either this building or this building. And you can see right here, right next to this thing and that thing and this beautiful park, these are houses, regular, ugly two-story houses built in the 1890s. Here's another one right here. And all of these, this is an apartment complex right here, ugly. And I'm telling you, in 10 years, they're all going to be gone, and this whole block is going to be skyscrapers, because that's how you urbanize a city. And the people who own those houses are going to make a lot of money. And this is the bar that's closing, General Square, right across the street from us. It's been there since 1930. I've peeked in a couple of times. It's a dive bar. It's always been a dive bar. The hotel, I'm sure, is going to have a gorgeous, brand new bar and place to hang out. So that's how you form a city. Urbanization. Big money comes in. Big opportunity. And you live at General Square, and it takes you 11 minutes by train to get to Manhattan. And from where we live in our white building, we are steps away from the PATH station. It's sort of all part of the same complex, really. You don't even have to go outside, except maybe for 10 steps. Unprotected steps to take the train. So if it takes 2 minutes from here to the PATH train station, 11 minutes on a train, if you time it perfectly right, you can be in Manhattan from Jersey City within 15 minutes. That is almost twice as fast as trying to get to Manhattan from Brooklyn. So they called Jersey City the sixth borough for a reason, because the transportation is spectacular. And if you live in this area, in the General Square area, you don't need a car. People don't want a car. They don't need to park. They can just walk to wherever they want to go to. Now, shopping at a grocery store is difficult right now, but that's why I get Whole Foods delivery. And the building people are starting to realize that people live here because they don't want a car. They want the PATH, and they're going to order things on the internet and have them delivered because they're not going to go shopping. And that causes problems. In our new building, we have a package room that is 3 times bigger than in this building because they think they learned their lesson. But that building's about half, is 1.5 times taller than our building. And we average 300 packages a day here that have to be processed and scanned. And in the second building, they average 900 boxes a day. So even though they tripled their storage space for the boxes, they have not helped anything in terms of flow and getting people their boxes on time. So you get a delivery at 10 a.m. and you can't pick it up until 6 p.m. It's a little weird and disappointing, but I guess that's the process now. The more people, more problems. That's our show for today. It's been a wonderful and invigorating 2 hours together. Made a new friend in Singapore. Hello. I hope you come back. If you have any thoughts or comments, you can email me, david@boles.tv. You can find me on Twitter @DavidBoles. Super follow to follow. You can find me on Facebook, the unknown social media company. Boles is the username there. Sounds Gucci. Oh, you sound like Speedy. Speedy on Twitch. Grand Theft Auto. Love Speedy. He's hilarious. And he's on early. He's in Norway. So he's on when I'm up. So Facebook, we're Boles. Instagram, we are Boles Books. TikTok, we are Boles TV. And here's our Discord server for our new friend to join and have fun and to post different interesting things. We can even add you to our voice channel and you can chat away with me using your voice if you want to, but you don't have to. So I'm off to my skin doctor appointment. We're hoping everything goes well. And until tomorrow, at 9 a.m. Eastern. Sounds good? Hop in. Tomorrow, stream 2. Lovely. Cannot wait to see you. Very glad to have you. And there's Mr. Gordon. Thank you for having us. Thank you so much for being here, Gordon. Always appreciate you. And may you have a wonderful nap, a terrific sleep, a joyous wake up, and when ye shall be part of the world again, may your soul be filled with joy and contentment and insight. I'll see you tomorrow. There's no such thing as an ending to a show that has no end. Gordon says, just once I want to hear you sing, and I'll be back in a day or two, and I'll have more ideas for you. Oh, and our friend says bye. Of course you just got an ad. LOL. Yeah, I can't sing it. Singing, I'm in trouble. So let me write this down. Gordon says, I've never seen anyone drink a morning multivitamin, which is as much glee as the ad shows. All right, I'm back. Sorry for keeping you. No problem, Mr. Gordon. And I'll be back in a day or two, and I'll have more ideas for you. Love that. But singing, I will get pinged, I will get dinged by the Mr. Rogers people for violating their DMCA rights. It's happened before, but maybe we can speak it and not get in trouble. Who knows? Now I'm getting ready to say goodbye again, Gordon, so say something or not say something. Or say something and I'll come back and... Well, it is the end of the show, so you can always trim it off. Well, that's true. But unfortunately, when that happens, they monetize the entire stream. I can have it cut off, but when you have YouTube especially trim out the bad parts, they don't do it right away. It takes them like a day and a half, for whatever reason. But it's a life goal, I'll admit that. Alas. And I'll have to find it too, because I'm not exactly sure where the melody is. See you tomorrow, Gordon. Send me a link to the Mr. Rogers thing if you can somewhere so I can practice. Maybe I can mess up the tune a little bit or fiddle with it so it's not completely recognizable. Except only to us who are paying attention. No, there's nothing going on. All right, just checking while I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. Nothing from our friend Ishida, nothing going on with anything anywhere. Okay, I guess that's good. Neutral news is as good as any news, that's biz. Okay, signing off unless I come back. Bye.